Do you have the mentality of a rich person or the mentality of a poor person? Let's take a look at what this mentality is and what it all revolves around. I have a sneaky suspicion this video may irritate some people. All I ask is hear me out and hear the general premise of what I'm saying. I'm not saying this exact situation, but the overall, from a high level, the idea, the philosophy, the viewpoint, the attitude, whatever word you want to use, it definitely pertains to what I'm trying to convey here. And that is this. What kind of, how does the world work? Well, you have somebody, and I don't know how, but this somebody, they generate money for themselves. Awesome, well done. I mean, as long as that arrow doesn't represent, I don't know, robbing a bank or, pushing over an old lady and taking her purse or something like that. I guess that's robbery still too. Anyways, you get the idea. As long as that is some sort of just whatever and you have money, who knows, maybe that arrow is somebody, and you got an inheritance, you got something, but you got money. At that point, there are two choices that you have. That's it, two. You can either, one, grow that money, or two, you can spend that money. And I realize that within some situations, you have to spend it, right? You have to spend it to pay your mortgage. You have to spend it to pay your rent. And I get it. But my premise here is that the money that is left over, so you make all those, where you have to spend, those requirements. And no, Netflix is not a required spending. But you make your spending and you have some money left over. So what are you gonna do with that? Is that where you go and then you just spend it on something such as Netflix, such as, I don't know, a coffee, such as something that gives you immediate pleasure? And I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with that. My point is that as soon as you do that and you bring that money down to zero, well, it's down to zero. You have to wait until this arrow kicks in again before you get money again, right? Nothing complicated here. And again, I'm not against Netflix. I'm not against buying a latte, frate, with a little cool design, some avocado toast for you millennials out there. Is that a millennial thing? I don't know. But anyways, any of those things I'm not against, but just realize from a mentality perspective, you're saying, nah, I don't want to grow that. I'm just going to spend it, bring it down to zero, and I'll wait for the arrow to give me more money. Or here's the cool thing about money. If you say, you know what, I'm going to use this amount and grow it, you can grow it and then just use something. Or use what you grow to buy something, but you still have the money. And the best way to really illustrate that is, so I have a pot of money. So here's my money right here. And I've decided, you know what, I want to take that money and I want to grow it. But let's just say, but you know what, I want that ROKU. Like that one's got all sorts of cool features and all that sort of stuff. I want that. I want to go and buy that. But I don't want to just buy it with this money, so I drop that down to zero. Is there another way I can buy that ROKU without taking it down to zero? There is. It takes a little patience. You might not have instant gratification from it, but if you get that pot of money sitting there, in my example right here, you can go out there and literally buy that ROKU without dropping that to zero. And in this situation, yes, I did it with the trade in the market, but the overall premise is, can you take that money and put it somewhere that all of a sudden grows to more money? And that money that is grown, you can then take that and take it to buy the ROKU. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. What I'm gonna do real quick is up on the screen, put up a short video clip where you're gonna see me literally trade ROKU, the stock ROKU. So I thought this was kind of, I'm paying for ROKU by trading ROKU stock. I think there's lots of, like you could write an entire English paper on this. I mean, there's so many parallels and symbolism and whatever else, motifs. I think that motif, is that a right word from English class? I don't remember. But idea here is that I am taking money that I decided not to immediately spend, and I am using that money to trade to generate more money that is then going to allow me to buy a Roku, but it keeps that amount the exact same. So let's get to the video and you'll see what I mean. Okay, it's working its way down there. Let's see if we can get down through. Bounced right off of 52. All right, back up above 60. Okay, there's the break. Nice, I'm in at 59.15. I changed that order to. And out for the quick $75. Pretty cool, huh? I made a trade. I made money. I made more than enough money to go and buy a Roku. And yet, I still had the exact same pot of money over here. It's not like that went down in order to buy that. And when you can do that, when that's your mentality, how do I get stuff without that going down? Well, you got to bridge that gap. It sounds bizarre, right? How do I get, but without spending? Without spending your original money, right? Wait, what do you mean? Get something without spending? Well, the bridge. You got to bridge that gap. And I'm not saying the gap here is trading. That's not my point. My point is that's a mentality you need to have. How can you get something without ever spending any money from it? And as soon as you adapt that, as soon as you kind of take that mentality, it's weird how you just all of a sudden start to have more money. And that's how rich people, that's how successful people, that's how people that grow money view the world. They understand that, I have this decision, but do I drop this money to zero right now? Or do I save it up so I can get a pot of money that I can then get stuff without ever having this money drop any further? Or in other words, this is known as the principle. And a lot of people out there, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, something that I always remember that he says is, never touch the principal, only spend the interest. Interest being the money that the principal generates. And that's always stuck with me because if you can do that, the sky's the limit. I'll say it again, never touch the principal. So meaning don't drop that down at all. Don't touch the principal, only spend the interest. In this case, the quote unquote interest came from a trade, but that interest can come from lots of things. Maybe you could start a business with it. Maybe you could just invest it. Maybe you could trade it. Maybe you could do lots of other things, but put that money to work and any interest, any return on investment, then you can use that to go out and get stuff. But as long as you never touch the principal, then like I said, the sky is the limit. But I thought that was, I don't know, in my mind, I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm trading Roku and I just made an amount on Roku where I could go and buy a Roku without ever having touched the principal. And to me, that's a fascinating concept. And really from a personal finance, from a wealth building perspective, that's a mentality that you need to have if you're ever gonna generate wealth and start to build wealth for yourself. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I wanna invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you wanna call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.